So after our tour on the Maid of the Mist, we decided to go to the next tour, which is the Cave of the Winds. And this one is a little bit treacherous, so you have to wear you have to wear slippers, and of course they gave us yellow coats. But before we go down there, we watched a little movie, about 15 minutes, giving us some background history of Niagara Falls. I had no idea Niagara Falls was, I guess, something as close to Coney Island used to be. For anybody who ever been to Coney Island, that's how it used to be. Theatrics and all kind of show. And according to the little movie we saw, they said that line was like private. It was privately owned, so there were all sorts of things like chimneys, stacks of you see smoke and so forth, and people were using it for industry, pouring waste there into the river. So it didn't really look like a pleasant sight. I guess if you can go back in time and really look at it. And then somewhere along the line, an artist drew a painting of what Niagara Falls really should like, which looks beautiful. And some people got that idea, this is how this place should be. And then the state was able to buy that area and turn it into public land, so people can really enjoy it and put it the way it should be, which is serene looking, nice looking, the way waterfalls should be, not with smokestacks and polluted water and all that stuff being poured out, and like an entertainment area, like a Coney Island type atmosphere and so forth. So it was really interesting, that background, but I didn't take any audio in there, maybe for copyright, to avoid any kind of copyright violations or so forth. So I kind of go by off the top of my head from what I remember in the 15 minutes or so movie. So after we left the movie, we went and got our slippers. Now on the bus, the tour guide said, well, you can remove your shoes here in the bus and you can walk bare feet if you want. I don't really like walking bare feet, especially in areas that I'm not really familiar with. I guess coming from New York City, I'm so accustomed the way some of the streets are. You walk barefooted. You never know. Maybe you'll be stepping in some broken glass or so. I mean, maybe Niagara Falls City is like that. Not like how New York is, where people throw bottles or break things. But anyway, I didn't want to take that risk walking bare feet. I walk bare feet on the beach, like in the sand, but not from the bus to a parking lot to somewhere that I'm not even sure where I'm going, walking bare feet. So anyway, I didn't do that. I kept on my sneakers, walked over there. However, he did say that they'll give you a plastic bag you can put your shoes in. So that's what they gave us. I got a plastic bag, put my shoes in. I got the slippers, and there were like some benches there you can sit, and you can remove your shoes, remove your socks or what have you, if you have socks. And also you put the slippers on. The slippers can adjust. So they made to adjust, you know. So they'll fit you as long as you ask for your size. So that's with it. And then when you go there, an elevator will take you down. I think about maybe 120 or 150 feet. It's a good distance down. So when you get down there, that's where they give you the yellow raincoat. Now when I put the yellow raincoat on, I felt very, very hot. I don't know, maybe it was kind of humid or something, but I didn't feel the same way when I was wearing the blue raincoat on the Maid of the Mist for some reason. But with the yellow raincoat, I'm not sure what it is, but I was feeling like as if I was in let's see, maybe like a rainforest, you know, where it's very hot. You feel that way, you steamy like. That's how it felt wearing those raincoats. So I had to remove the top, bring the top down from my head for a while. But anyway, it's very, very wet there. So those slippers come in handy, and you're walking down steps. So the steps are such a way that you have to be very careful because you don't want to fall down those steps. So this would you call it exhibit or what have you, or attraction. It's a bit more challenging. So you really need to be in shape to go down those steps, those steep steps, and to climb up and so forth. So at one point it didn't look like it was that wet. Of course it was water and so forth, but as we got to the other side, and then there's another set of steps where you climb up to get back out. As you go up, you come in right below the waterfall, and that's where it feels like it's raining. What as we say in English, that's saying it's raining cats and dogs. That's how heavy that waterfall is coming down. You know, it's like constant rain beating down on you, but that's from the waterfall. So apparently you're gonna see that in a few minutes, you know, into the film. That's gonna show up where the water is coming down heavily. But as you can see right now, people are climbing up, and somebody's carrying a bag with their shoes right there, as I have. I was also carrying mine. And at this point, you don't need to cover your head, you know. But they're climbing up, and where they're climbing up right now, they're climbing up to where the water is coming down heavily, and that's where you're gonna need to cover your head. Sooner or later I did, otherwise you'll be drenched. You see, look at all that water that's coming down there. So if I remember well, I think the tour guide said the waterfall jumps around like 237,000 gallons per second, something like that, you know. And then I think he said there's like a rotation at night, something, so it may be less at one point in the day. But it's very powerful, and they also use that water for electricity, to produce electricity, because according to the 15-minute film, they were able to power the city of Buffalo, which is maybe about 20 miles down the road. They were able to power the whole city of Buffalo just using the hydroelectric current that was generated back in those days from this from Niagara Falls, the water. So instead of having to use like oil or so forth, the water, the falling water produces free electricity as long as you know what you're doing. And the film mentions there was a foreigner, I think his last name is Tesla, T-S-L-A, and he was able to convert the energy into alternating current, as they say AC, you know. You have DC current, direct current, and AC, alternating current. So he was one of the first persons who was able to do that. And that was the current of the future that we still use today, the alternating current that's used in the home. Now here the energy, the power of the waterfall. And by the way, this side is the American waterfall, and the Canadian waterfall, the horseshoe-shaped waterfall, it's much more powerful than this. Of course, we didn't go over the Canadian side, because technically, if you go over there, you're in a different country, and technically you should go through immigration. So we didn't wander off there to that side. So we stayed on the American side. There it is right there. That's where you end up going up those steps. And see how powerful that is coming down. It's really an adventure worth experiencing. I think it's the kind of thing you can do at maybe different ages. You don't have to worry about your age. You can be, I don't know. I wouldn't suggest going there if you're 90 years old, you know, if you have brittle bones. But if you 70, 80 years old, you probably can still go there. You know, so long as you think you can get up those steps, and you don't need a wheelchair. I did see somebody there in a wheelchair, but you know, they can't go down there. You don't have the ADA, Americans with Disabilities Act. You can't come up with something like that to bring somebody in a wheelchair down there. It's just not conceivable to be made, to be set up to allow people in a wheelchair down there. But somebody in a wheelchair did reach close on the lower platform where the elevator brings them down, and they just go down. You know, to what this place where the embankment is, and they took the person who was carrying him or her, took him down there to that part, right by the embankment. So at least they got to witness that. You see? Yeah, the power of those falls, and this is non-stop. And according to the film, much of this water eventually goes out into the Atlantic Ocean. It finds its way out there into the Atlantic Ocean. Much of it. So this is non-stop. There, at this side, you see people of all sorts of different nationalities who came out, who were interested to see the falls. It leaves an impression for the rest of your life, something that you can't forget when you look at these falls, you know, the power, the energy. The video also mentioned at least 2 people who did go over the falls. Imagine that. And survived. I think one was a 7-year-old boy who managed to fall and survived, and one was a lady who also went over and she survived. So you can just imagine. I mean, just standing below there and listening to the immense power of the falls. So imagine being caught up in that and falling with the water. And that's what I think it's like 100 and probably 150 feet or more from the top. So that's a good distance. So imagine falling that distance from the top, you know, all the way to the bottom and surviving. You have to be maybe like they say, a cat. A cat has 9 lives. You have to be like a cat to be able to survive a fall like that and live to talk about it. So that's the end of the tour here. Cave of the Winds and Bridal Veil Falls. And here we took off the raincoats and put them in this recyclable bin. So that's it. I hope you enjoy the tour of the Cave of the Winds. It was great seeing you.
I'd spend it all if I could find that hideout and that Sancho that she's found. Well, I'd pop a cat in Sancho and I'd slap her